Hey everyone, my name is Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to look at the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that I follow. If you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I go into individual companies, individual sectors, share basically my opinions about all these different companies that the world has to offer. I sift through everything, and then I put what I think are the cleanest looking charts along with the strongest fundamental companies that have very low cheap ratios historically. So I'm looking for all the tailwinds for the companies to be successful, market conditions to be successful for them. And that's really what I do is I dive into that. And don't forget, we have a 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time um, question and answer session on Sunday. Let's dive in. Let's see what's going on with the dollar first. We had a little bit of a fakey, guys, a little fake out here. We sold off throughout the day, but it came and got bought back up, and we're still above the trend line. I saw gold taken off in the morning, but again, gold seems to be behaving opposite of what yields are doing, and yields came back up throughout the day. So here's the big selling move, and then the rally coming up higher towards the end of the day, and that looks like me a shoulder, head, shoulder, a reversal pattern where we could potentially go higher in the dollar, which then makes me think, well, let's look at yields because dollar strength and dollar yields have been pretty highly correlated here recently. The 2-year yield did the same thing, same little move. And let's see if we got that inverted head and shoulders here. Oh my God, that's in the 1 minute line. We'll do a line chart, back out a little bit. Nah, it's not the same pattern, but it's come back above that support level on the short term there. We'll go back to the candles, the year. So we're above support, and we'll see if this starts to move on up. I know that's counter to what a lot of people think. A lot of people think that yields are going to go lower and that is in the bag. That is what the Fed has indicated. And I don't know, guys, but to me, the yields still look very strong here. The 10-year yield looks like a beast here. We got sold off early, but this thing finished strong. And to me, it looks like we're going higher. So yields going up on the 10-year. That's going to have some impact on the pricing of assets. Here's my guess, guys. Sideways in the S&P, sideways in NASDAQ for the most part. Could go slightly lower. Those are my guesses just by looking at this data, and I haven't looked yet. With yields going up, I would say gold is probably slightly lower, is my guess. Oil is probably higher with the 10-year yield. We're probably going lower in financials, the KRE index, and I think we're going lower in emerging markets probably, and then home builders are probably lower. That's my guess, just based off of where yields are going. We'll see if I'm right. But that looks like it wants to go up. 30-year looks like it wants to go up too. Big, strong bullish candlesticks today, bullish engulfings with strong finishes. TYX TNX ratio basically moving sideways. Again, slightly lower gold is what I would assume. Bond price is lower with a bearish engulfing, and we'll see if there's any sort of traction here to the downside. And then the 2 and 10-year yield is uninverting, but it's doing it in a bear steepener fashion where the long end of the curve went up a lot more than the short end of the curve. And sometimes that can indicate where you are in the business cycle. You could be a little bit later in the business cycle when things like this occur, but we've been seeing this curve for a long time. We've gotten a lot of bear steepeners, like one after the another, after another, after another. Kind of crazy. So gold is lower, and I do think this will continue lower. Gold is jiving in the opposite direction of where the 10-year yield is going. So that relationship is still there. Silver down a little bit, or I mean up some today, 1.4% roughly. And we're still squeezing in this pattern still. We're still squeezing up here. And I know the deficits are out there for silver. We did run deficits in 2023. Platinum up $2.6 an ounce, not too much. Looks like to me that we're trying to bottom here. And then palladium's also trying to bottom up a little bit more, about 2.3%. And then I expect this to kind of bottom out and get its its trampoline jumps on, is what I'll say. XAU to gold ratio doesn't like the increasing yields. I don't blame it. We could see further downside for gold and silver mining companies. That's what I see in that sector at the moment. CRB index up 1.04% today, and that does look like it will continue to the upside. Hopefully, oil gets its butt moving. But that looks good. I've seen this pattern before. What the pattern is, I've seen it in some, not this pattern here, but this pattern, I've seen it before in previous bull markets. You get these distinct run-ups. It goes into a consolidation, and then you do your last little hump, and then it jumps. I hope that's the case. I've positioned as such, and that's what I'm seeing in the market or in the CRB index. CRB to S&P 500, more outperformance today, up 1% with a nice big bullish engulfing. We've got one here. We have another one here. Let's see if we can get some follow through here, moving on up. And I think the driver of this is yields and oil. It's going to be energy related. So that's where my eyes are set. Nice big bullish engulfing on the weeklies here. Come on, let's get the turn here, boys. GDX down, a little bit of strong selling pressure today. That does look like the momentum's still lower, and it looks like we could see further downside, unfortunately, for GDX, GDXJ, and SILJ. It's all the same chart. What this is basically a bear formation, bear flag, where we could see further downside. Yields are driving. Crude oil up 1.44%. We've broken through the downtrend here. It's not a super strong finish, but it's strong enough where I think we'll continue higher, grind on higher over time. I'm not saying every day. I'm not saying it's going to do this. What I'm saying is I think we'll grind. Maybe we get back up to this level up here with a fashion of up and down movements like that. Hopefully we stay elevated for a while. TTF gas up 6%, bouncing off support. That's that big long-term support level in the white there, and we're bouncing off of it. And on the dailies, there's our big move today. And hopefully we can try to reverse this downtrend into an uptrend here shortly. We'll see if we can break it. Natural gas in America, monster move. We're up 9.4, 9.3%, or wherever it's going to end up at. But yeah, this looks really strong today. We've got lots of volatility here. So nat gas, it's just volatile. And the underlying companies don't look that bad. Production looks like it wants to fall. So I don't think it looks that bad. We're real cheap for the patient investor. I'm not saying that this is just going to rip, but for the patient investor, if you're looking in this general area, like down here or down here, not too bad to be looking at some of the natural gas equities. XOP, yeah, you know me, hitting it up at 1.3% higher today. Not a huge, strong follow through on XOP. I'd like to see a little bit more strength here. Pretty weak. I would say this is a flaccid move. And we had bearish engulfing here. I don't see a reversal candlestick. I mean, there's one here. It's pretty weak. Come on, guys. Let's strengthen this thing up and get this thing moving to the upside. Come on now. OIH looks a little bit better here, 2.1%. We're bouncing off support. The support line is this line I'm talking about. Bullish engulfing, close to it here. Nice little wicks at the bottom for a reversal candlestick on OIH. And yes, I was buying some energy service companies down here. But it looks good, and hopefully the momentum can continue along with oil. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust down 2.25% or so. A little bit of a stronger selling pressure candlestick. Maybe those YouTube guys are getting the people saying it's overbought. It looks a little bit overbought here. I saw Tony Greer or someone talk about him saying it's a little overheated. I really don't care. I'm not going to sell my positions. I'm going to ride it. So, but momentum is to the downside here. It's getting a little bit more of a sell-off. URA, it's still holding in. But again, I do think there could be potential sideways to slightly lower still left in the short term. We've got a big move here. We came on up, and this is a bearish piercing. What it is we tried to bounce, but the sellers came in and kind of knocked it lower. So I think we could still see sideways to slightly lower movement for a little while. URNM, same candlestick. I think we're coming back here. is my guess. You can see this kind of as like a flag pattern, and then we can take that flag pattern and just kind of project it lower. It's going to put us right in the $50 range. That's my guess. That's a really awesome thing that I drew there too. URNJ also down a little bit, but again, I think we're just going to go back to do a full retest and then rip. That's my guess. TAN down 1.92, doesn't like the higher rates. TAN is very sensitive to yields. We could see that we bottomed when the yields were going down, and then we reversed. We're going to go back lower here. So TAN could go lower in the short term, bearish engulfing here, where we could see a little bit more selling pressure if yields continue higher. COPX up 3.12%. Pretty strong area in the market is copper. I do think we could be bottoming here and working our way on up. Lithium, a little bit of headwinds with the rates going up. We were flat today, 0.25% up, but again, it's a headwind. REMX up 1.94%, but again, with rates going up, I would be real careful here. We could still see further downside. Momentum is to the downside. S&P 500 is flat. Hey, I guessed right. Flat to slightly lower is what my guess would be, but it's still holding on. It's not a reversal candlestick. And the NASDAQ is slightly higher with momentum loss throughout the day, right at resistance. KRE, we're up 1.16. That's some pretty strong mojo it's got with rates going up the way it did. So that looks good, and hopefully it can continue higher. Emerging markets up 1.12. I guessed wrong on that. I said maybe we would be lower because of the yields. The dollar was lower today. So maybe the correlation to the dollar is stronger than yields, but we're back to the resistance line. XHB was lower, 1.57% with those higher yields on the long end of the curve. Maybe we come back here and do a little bit of a retest. Move down a teeny bit. It's holding on. It's trying, but we've got support that we're going to probably hit at $69. Copper looking really strong, up 2%. We have a bullish engulfing here today, or yesterday, I mean. We went up today, and we'll see if we can break out of this. We haven't broken out of the pattern yet. And a lot of the other, copper diversified mining companies are also squeezing up. Are we going to do something where we get another round trip on this thing in the pattern? I don't know. We'll see. Iron ore continuing higher, up 0.67%. That looks really strong. I think we'll continue higher there for iron ore and probably steel. Aluminum slightly lower. It's a bloody nose candlestick, generally a continuation pattern to the upside. That still looks good to go up. We're right at resistance. We've got Baltic Dry Index down 2.96% is what I'm seeing. I still think we're going to go higher. It is highly linked to iron ore, which is going up, and coal, which is kind of basing out. Coal, which is next, is also basing out, and I think this is going to be a good spot to be looking at potential coal. Natural gas is low, and natural gas and coal kind of ride together. With natural gas as cheap as it is, it's going to yank coal down. But I think natural gas will go up probably into later 2024. We've got a lot of liquefied natural gas terminals that are coming online at some point here in 2024. Quarter two of 2024 is the first one. BTC, Bitcoin, this still looks like we could go lower. Not a lot of buying pressure here that we see, and I think we could see this continue to the downside, even though we were up today. And Ethereum down 1.5%, and it looks like the momentum's to the downside, and I don't see that reversing yet. We'll see, but we are coming up to a lot of support in that general area. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Thumb up for the content, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the website if you guys want. Use a discount coupon code if you want to use a discount. And I would say hopefully we can get some traction here in oil. That's the master commodity. That's what I watch. That's the one that gets my blood flowing. Is I got oil in my blood, boys. Oil and natural gas. I like those two. But copper's looking good. There's some deficits coming up in 2024. Makes sense that we could potentially have a move higher. I know a lot of people are looking at gold to outperform copper here because of weakness in the economy, but I don't know. A lot of the times the demand has been in the driver's seat. Supply has always lagged and basically met the demand. I don't know what that looks like if the supply is in the driver's seat and the demand we'll be short of that demand no matter kind of where that demand is. We'll see. We'll see it. It's like we're entering a world of scarcity versus a world of abundance. And maybe a lot of these leading indicators and measuring sticks are going to change around. Maybe we get a commodity bull market in a recession. Maybe, I don't know. And only in certain commodities, not all of them. But that's what I've got for today, guys. We'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.